Hi, welcome to SFG Cards and Craft. Today I'd like to show you how I did this card. This card is using a stamp from Memory Box called Butterfly Trail. There's the stamp there. There's just the one stamp in this package, and it's got all 4 butterflies on the one, as you can see. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm just stamping the 2 bottom butterflies, the large one and the one below it, onto some scrap paper because I'm actually needing just the large one. I will eventually use the other ones too, because I actually like to have a few of these butterflies in reserve so I can just put them onto things. And just stamping, I do have to double stamp this because it is a watercolour textured watercoloured paper, so it doesn't stamp perfectly first time. And I'm just using the what's it called, the VersaFine Onyx Black Ink on that one. That's all I've used in this whole card actually, is the VersaFine Onyx Black, and that's just showing that I've actually just stamped 4 of those. And there's the panel that I'm going to be using. These panels, I actually have these left over from a class that I taught a few months ago. The ladies just wanted to do just all butterfly cards on that day, so this was one of the cards that I actually designed for them. And just the pink colour that I bought in there, as you can see, I went about 3/4 of the way across the wing with the pink, and then put a little bit of the blue at the end there, and just blended the 2 colours together with the pink, so it sort of has this pink, purple, blue sort of toning there on the end of the wing. And the colours that I'm using is picked raspberry, which is fairly watered down picked raspberry, and salty ocean there again, fairly watered down. I wanted these to be sort of pastel colours, I suppose, the butterflies, sort of pastel-y rather than too bright, because it's just the way I wanted to do it. And sorry about the camera, I don't know what's happening with it. It just seems to be doing some weird things on this video. This is the first time it's actually done things like that, but it does that a few times within the next minute or so, and then it came right again, so I'm not sure what it was going on. Maybe it was trying to focus on the butterfly that's on the table there and then couldn't because my hand was there, and I don't know. But anyway, it came right. Now just doing the colour on the end of this one. I do sort of bring that colour down, as you can see, down the edge of that wing as well, but by the time it's all done, not much of that colour remains. It sort of blends in a little bit and becomes sort of purple. Then I'm working on 4 of these. This I think is actually the 4th one that I've actually painted here, because I was having a bit of problems with the camera focusing for 1 or 2 of the other ones, so I couldn't use those obviously. And just doing those little small wings. I think they're actually a separate wing from the ones in the front. I'm pretty sure they are. And just putting the blue on, and as you can see, I keep wiping the brush in between so that I don't drag the two colours together too much, otherwise the whole thing would become just purple. And doing the last little bit now, wiping the brush off a little bit more, and I'm bringing, when I do come back, I actually do bring in a bit more of the pink to go over the blue. I don't just sort of spread what's there. I do have a bit more of the pink on my brush to do that. And there's the butterfly almost complete. I'm just putting in a little bit more of the blue just to brighten it up a little bit more. I thought it was a little bit washed out perhaps. And now, because I'm not sure if there is a die for these, but I don't have it if there is, so I had to cut these with scissors. And there they are. And I'm putting on some Spectrum Noir clear glitter. I find that is a very good glitter, so I put it on most of my cards. Have some of that on them somewhere. And then after I've done this, you'll see me coming in a moment, heating them with the heat gun. But what I actually do is once they're dry, press them into the VersaMark ink and then coat them with a clear embossing powder so that they become nice and smooth. But the glitter shows through quite nicely actually. They do look quite impressive underneath. It's really, really glittery. Looking at one now. I didn't worry about the antenna because where I'm sticking it onto the card, it's going to be stuck straight directly on top of the other stamped image, and the antenna is there anyway, so I didn't worry about trying to cut around that tiny little antenna. If I'd done that, I would have had to have cut like with a white edge, and that was something I didn't want on this particular one. And that was just showing, as I said before, just putting the embossing powder on. This is my collection of gems that I've got, or some of them, most of them. I've got all these little plastic cards of the different colours. I buy them, they're very cheap when I buy them, they're not expensive at all. I buy 3 cards like what's showing there, in one packet, and it's only like $2.50 or something like that, and there's, I'm not sure, about 800 little gems on it or something. So they're very cheap. Well, I think they're cheap. I mean, maybe for other country standards they're not so cheap, but for us that is reasonable. And I've put the black for the body. In hindsight, I probably could have used a slightly larger bead for that, or diamante, whatever they call them, gem, but I didn't. And here on the wings now, I'm putting pink ones. I'm actually putting 3 on each wing, but at this moment I'm only putting the first 2, like the first pair, so the 2, and then I'll come back and put a 3rd one on. Well, that's pretty much the little butterfly done. All I've got to do now is, after putting these last little ones on, is just put a piece of sticky on the bottom, like a dimensional tape on the bottom, and they're done. I only put the dimensional tape just down the body, so it's only a very small piece. And just coming in now to do the hickory smoke. This is just a very light coating of hickory smoke over all the butterflies. There's no shading, nothing special. I just wanted those to look very plain, because after all it is like a card where it says "You colour my world." So all I need is just the one butterfly. I've done a card similar to this where I have one flower that's coloured on a whole lot of flowers. That if you have a look back in, I'm not sure how long ago it was. It might have been late last year, even could be 6 months or so ago, that I did a similar card using the flower from the Mama Elephant Butterfly Kisses. And I actually did a similar thing where I've done most of the flowers in the grey shades like this, and then painted the one flower in colour and used that same "You Colour My World" stamp on it. Only at that point I actually did the embossing on the sentiment, not just plain stamping, whereas I just stamped this time, not embossed. Okay, just about finished. Actually, that last butterfly there came out a little bit darker than I would have liked, but not to worry. Now, this might not be the same one of the 4 cards, because I have worked on 4 all at once. And as you can see, I've just put a little bit of dimensional tape there on the bottom. It's just a very thin tape. It's a 0.8 of a millimetre thick, so it's fairly thin. This one. The one with the green backing is the thin one. The one with the white backing is the thicker one of the 2 that I've got. And there's pretty much the panel. I haven't put the sentiment on yet, but that's what the butterfly looks like on the panel. Looks quite cute, I thought. And now this is the sentiments. I've actually already stamped them. For some reason I thought my camera was running and it wasn't. I'm using the Lawn Fawn Colour My World, and this is the Avery Elle Bouquet one. What's it called? Something Bouquet. Oh, Floral Bouquet. There's the label there. Now I show with the Colour My World, I actually have bought 2 of these. Now I didn't double up accidentally. I doubled up on purpose, because one of them I wanted to cut so that the word colour can be removed. So I've got 2 of them there. One of them I haven't even opened yet, but this is the one that I was using all along. Then I decided to buy a second one so I could cut this one, and I've actually just cut the word out, because it is only a small set and it's only a few dollars. It was cheap enough, and it was just so much easier to do that. When I've actually tried doing these in the past, where I've actually done 2 colours on these and try and mask it out, and then put the embossing powder on the first and last words, and then to try and go back and then put the colour on, it was just so frustrating and so time consuming. So I thought, well, for the sake of about $5 or $6, I've just bought a second stamp, and it's just, it saved my sanity, honestly. So okay, now I'm just putting the last one of these 4 cards onto the backing paper. I'm just using grey here for obvious reasons, because the only thing I want in colour is the word colour and the butterfly itself. And just sticking that one down, and that's the 4 of them done there. As you can see, there's all 4 of them. And I've done them all the same, because the butterflies, I've painted them all the same. In hindsight, I probably could have painted some of the butterflies mainly blue with a pink on them, or another colour, and I've just left the white inside. And then probably used the blue diamantes and done the blue word colour, but I didn't. I did them all pink, so most of these cards will be for women anyway. So and there's just 2 of them. To try and photograph 4 of them was they overhung my piece of board that I've got there in the background, so it didn't work out. So I hope you liked this, and if you did, please hit that like box or click the like box, and if you haven't subscribed, then please do subscribe, and hopefully that I'll be having some more coming soon, more videos that is. Thank you, bye bye.